My grandparents first arrived to the UK in the 50s, when the aftermath of World War II was still everywhere to be seen. Racism was thick in the air, with it still being legal to deny employment and housing based on race or ethnicity until 1968. My parents were born in the 70s, the decade of strikes. Leeds is where they settled down. They got married in the 90s, and shortly after, I was born. I was born into a culture, into a family that had changed so much. The turban was never really a large aspect of my life. I remember seeing it when I was 3 or 4 at the Gurdwara where my mum worked. My brother and I would go with her sometimes and run around the halls playing tig. Then things began to change. I grew older and noticed things more. I noticed the treatment I faced in public places. I noticed the fewer numbers I saw of people wearing turbans. I heard more and more stories of the racism people faced day to day.
Check this.
Even your pyjamas.
So,
It's a business.
it's a business.
It's your business then. Just making sure I'm in the shot.
In the short?
Yeah, in the shot.
I'm in the short.
You are in the shot.
I used to be like, oh, I want to wear a turban. And then I realised I'd have to keep my hair long. And there was a lot of restrictions and expectations for it. Then I was like, no, I don't want to.
Well, not wearing a turban, but when I was manager at the Sikh Centre, I found it easier to wear almost like a badga type thing, instead of having a scarf on that kept falling off and faffing about with it. It was easier to tie something, wrap it round.
When you wear a bag, when you wear a turban, you can't just tie one on. I've realised, even if you've got long hair, you can't just tie it on first. You do need something that it needs to grip onto, and it's not really going to grip onto your hair because your hair's fine. So you do need to put something underneath.
That's like keeps it in place.
Yeah, like you say, like a bandana, and then something that the bag then can adhere to.
I'd do it on weekends.
Just just see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Nothing
I think actually I have worn one.
Have you?
Year one or reception at Harewood, we were doing some Christmas thing, and I remember I was one of the princes, and you tied a turban on me, and I requested for you tie a turban on me. I want to wear a turban for this.
Yeah, because you were one of the kings.
I was one of the kings, and I said,
and he was in like a full.
I was in a full Asian outfit, and
I
I said to Mum, I want you to put my head. I want to be in a turban, and you were like, okay.
Okay, one thing I found with your kids, your cultural identity, what is your cultural identity? You don't know, do you?
No, probably
not really.
not.
But I don't think, I don't think that's the fault about us, right? I don't think it is. But you've not grown up in a society where you really had to deal with racism. My thing about it's what's happened in modern history.
Okay.
I think everything since 9/11, that changed everything for every brown person in the world.
I went to Punjabi school. I hated the idea of going to Punjabi school simply because the attire that I was forced to go in.
Why? What did you have to wear?
Obviously I came from school where I'd be wearing English clothes, your dress, your skirt, whatever it was at the time. I think I was in middle school, and then I was in high school, the starting of high school, and then I'd have to wear a suit and go down from Eastleigh Road all the way to the Chapeltown Road, Gurdwara. We'd walk it for basically we wouldn't be walking it, we'd be running to not be seen. Because the people, obviously, those pockets of people who were racist, who were abusive and stuff, the buses used to stop on Roundy Road, you know where the Farm Foods is? There used to be a supermarket there, a massive supermarket, and the buses would stop there. So you'd try and time it in a way where you avoided being seen by a bus full of kids or whoever on the bus and stuff, and then having people spit out the bus who were spat at, and you knew you were spat at and stuff because you'd feel something land on your head, and when you'd wipe it and you think, great, somebody's just spat on me from the bus.
It's not the extent that you guys still face or faced previously, definitely not.
But
we have to. I mean, me on the bus. Literally all the time when I'm on the bus, something happens to me on the bus. We all know that, and I'm assuming you've had issues.
I've had like stuff like that.
It's not necessarily someone sat there like saying stuff.
The difference in the experiences, I'm guessing, difference in generations, because our generation is more, I guess, more aware that it's wrong, but some people of the older generation would still do it. But because of the way you were brought up,
I agree with that.
The way you were brought up, you dealt with it more often than we would.
There is, like I say, it's very, we are all lumped into, like I say, all lumped into one.
One question Dad had for me was, how is it at your work? Because obviously his work has always been very particular, a lot of people, and wherever he's worked, he's always been that one brown guy. That's it. That's always been the case.
We don't, because my group is very, I guess, multicultural, because we have different, we're not basically, this is the brown group, this is the white group. We're like extremely mixed. So we do have conversations every now and again about stuff like that, because there are like,
I mean, when I went to school, you wouldn't have conversations about religion and stuff like that.
We're very different to the normal,
There's not much of an age difference between you. It just shows,
because
doesn't it?
Because there is the atheist people in the group, there is the really religious people in the group, and then there's like religious to an extent, religious people like me to an extent. So we all in the past had conversations for like a bit, for like most of lunch, discussing that.
Sikhs wear a turban. It's not anything to do with religion at all.
Isn't it?
It's like a sign of
It's a sign. It's a sign of help.
That
if you if you know your people, okay, and if you're aware of your cultures, and and that's down to everybody else. That if somebody else is in trouble or needs assistance, that they can go to that person, because culturally, okay, their Sikh ethos is to lead a selfless life. If he says, "Can you give me £10,000?"
And we were like, whoa, hold up.
I'll get back to you.
I'll get back to you.
For me, it's strange. Like the only thing I can sort of say to you is, when we go on the Niggerkeaton on the march, right? I always have that little bit of a lump in my throat when I'm walking along and stuff, and I look back and I see that, flood of orange colours and bright colours and everything else, and there's turbans and everything, and I just can't, I've always said that, I can't understand why somebody'd walk away from it. Having that sense of community and that sense of pride in who you are and stuff. That's what it is. It's part of that. But on the other side, I also get that it isn't for everybody. It's personal choice at the end of the day.
I have thought about it in the past, like at school, and I was talking around. It was in PE changing rooms, and we were talking about, and Sikh people are there, and they went, and this one kid went up to me and just went, "You wouldn't be allowed to because you've cut your hair and you've done all this stuff." So I guess like.
The thing is, they've been brought up that way.
It's like
no, that's completely wrong.
That kid is like really religious.
You're supposed to keep your hair long, and you're supposed to keep it tidy, right?
And the turban's there to help it maintain it.
So no,
Keep it tidy.
No, it isn't. No, right. What you're supposed to wear, right? Okay, keep your hair long, right? When we go to Goodland, you wear a rumal. Okay, underneath your turban, you're supposed to wear like a secondary cloth.
Yeah.
and that keeps your hair nice and tidy and neat. That's what
Okay.
that's there for.
Oh, so that's
The
just more
turban-
for show.
The turban is there as a sign of identity.
What do you call Dr. Jekyll in a turban?
Hide and seek.
It's like on a weekend, okay? You can, when you're at school, you do what you want, right? You can do what you want. You go into town, do it. But as soon as you see, like say, and it rarely happens, but as soon as you see your teacher
As soon as you see
or
it,
you see your classmate,
Yeah, then it's
Right.
like, what are you doing here? This
what
is
are
my
you doing?
time.
This is my time, okay?
yeah,
Like I say, I would be happy, right?
Mm.
On a weekend, as I've said, okay, I'd wear a turban on a weekend because that's my time. That's me,
yeah.
right?
Mm.
And for me then to venture out and then go and
Bump
where
into
one to
somebody.
where one to work, right, would be a big step because
Mm.
everybody's known me for like 20 odd years
Yeah.
a certain way.
Now I know down at the moment it's like, oh yes, I could possibly wear it for a day, or I could wear it to the Gurdwara, or I might just wear it on a weekend. But if I was out and about, I'm not too sure, because going to work 5 days a week, I don't know if I'd have the confidence to wear it there. Whereas for me, it's like, if you're going to wear it, you should be able to wear it wherever or whenever. It shouldn't be a case of that. But he's grown up in a different environment to me.
Yeah.
That's the thing I think that's holding him back, because if he had grown up in the same sort of
Like a
setup as
household
mine,
that was around it all the time.
around it and around with people wearing it, not wearing, and all of that, I think he would have been more comfortable to be able to just put it back on.
I'm gonna be honest. When you wore the turban for the first time and we saw pictures, I was a little bit shocked. I knew you've wanted to wear a turban, but like I was,
Well,
even
the
though
o-
I knew,
yeah.
I was still shocked about it.
The only time that we would have ever have seen Dad in the turban is through pictures of
Wedding
wedding.
pictures up there.
Yeah.
But my dad overtook a Sikh man wearing a turban whilst driving his car, and he said, I thought he'd drive faster with that turbine on his head.
That's naughty. Being little, him growing his hair and not wanting to cut it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
heading in a certain direction at primary school.
And then
And
I was like,
it was up to you. If you want to do it, you can do it. It's up to you.
Oh yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah,
The fact that
I
we
do
had those
remember-
conversations
I do
of
remember-
like,
Yeah,
if
'cause
you
you
want to
never-
grow your hair, you
Yeah,
can
it
grow
was
your
it was
hair.
with
wanted
you
to
two,
cut it.
because I remember
Yeah,
I
we've
was
never
sat,
like said we've never
you've never
like said okay.
Not that.
Like say, and the only thing is okay,
you've given us a lot of choice.
I think at some point, okay, I think everybody finds their way.
There's this place in between where we lie that is often disregarded. Imagine a spectrum, a line spanning to either ends, with so much space existing in between. Those that are in the middle of the line, a line that measures strict and extreme to an extent of religion and culture, to no religion or hardly any culture at all. Those that lie in between have thoughts, have questions, and things to say too, despite not visually fitting in to either ends of the scale. Have I ever thought about wearing a turban? Well, I don't know. Not really. I've seen the girls at the Gurdwara wearing them, or a version of them, and I've imagined myself wearing them. But that doesn't necessarily mean I've thought about wearing one now or in the future. I've learnt things I never thought about before. The turban represents so much more than religion and faith. The turban is like a beacon of light, a source of help, a symbol of guidance. Hearing other people's views has definitely made me question my own, or has made me realise I thought strongly on something without knowing it. Talking about the turban, what it means, what it represents, has made me want to talk more about our culture, our traditions, our history. There is so much more to be discussed. The talk hasn't ended here.